Hello, everybody. Welcome to Full Throttle Business, the show where we interview entrepreneurs and leaders to uncover what it takes to build a business operating at full throttle. My name is Kelly Pites. I'm the owner here at Action Coach Central in Southeast Virginia. And today I have Evan Chappell, the owner of Captain Closet, as my guest. Hey, if this is your first time on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe so you can get notifications when we drop new shows just like this one. Welcome, Evan. I really appreciate you being on the show today.
Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate it.
Hey, please give us a brief overview of your background and tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so my background really uh, is a carpenter. I started framing houses back in the housing boom of 2005, 6, and then found my way into trim carpentry. Tried a business back in '08 to 2012 that didn't work out just because I didn't have a lot of business knowledge, and I kind of learned some hard lessons there. And fast forward to COVID around 2021, I started again trying to have a carpentry business and found my way into the closet niche.
Um, Tell us about the role that you currently play in your business.
I mean, actually, it's kind of everything, and that's not a good thing, but I mean, I'm wearing all the hats just because I've taken my time kind of figuring out the niche and my customers. So I'm still hanging on to, sales installations even up until recently. So really, I'm just doing everything, but I am starting to try to let go of installations just because uh, it's really the easiest thing for me to hire out, and then that way I can focus on, more of the business stuff.
Yeah, it's so common for business owners, self-employed to be doing everything, to wearing all the hats. It's really the first step in building your business. So when you look at your role and all the hats that you're wearing, how many hours are you spending working in your business, the job, and how many on the business, the strategy, the planning?
I mean, I guess in the business, doing the regular stuff, I mean, it's probably 40 hours. And then after that, I mean, as much as possible, at least, you know, 20. So, I mean, I guess that's 60 total. But I don't even record it just because it's almost like putting out fires and just doing the immediate thing in front of you, which is working in the business. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, my numbers might be off on that, but I mean that's just an estimate.
Yeah. What you'd mentioned, previous business and stuff, and a lot of business owners have done several businesses and where they haven't worked out. What did you learn from that you've applied to your current business?
You mean just from the failure, that first time
Yeah.
around?
Yeah.
You know what I think I learned was, I mean, I like to call it the Craftsman Trap. So I was in that Craftsman Trap where I just really loved carpentry, and I thought, hey, it'd be fun to start a business. And my focus was on the quality of the product. If somebody wanted a deck, I would think I'm going to build the best deck ever. Um, and I was all about the craftsmanship. But anything outside of that, I just didn't pay attention to. I
Yeah.
just thought if I do a good job and focus on, building a good deck, for instance, everything's going to work out. And then it failed. And then I kind of just thought, I didn't know what to think. And I think the lesson that I learned is that you just kind of have to pay attention to the customer and not what you want. I was paying attention to what I wanted, which was cool deck, take a picture of it, look at me and look what I can build. Where does the customer care about that at all? Not really. What if they want a more budget friendly deck that's not that flashy and not something that you can't be as proud of? I mean, am I going to say no to them? And I just hadn't really been paying attention to the customer at all. So I learned that lesson. I think that was the big one is that you're solving their problems. You're not solving your own. And at the moment, I was solving my problem, which was to feed my ego and build cool stuff, which I still do now, but it's customer focused.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great self-awareness and lesson to learn for sure. So, well, let's move on to your current business and what makes your business so special. I mean, if uh, who primarily does your business serve? If I was in your audience, how would I know if I was a good fit for your product or service?
So I'm still kind of figuring out some of the small details, but to me, my ideal customer, they need more space. I mean, yeah, they like a flashy looking closet and stuff, but ultimately their primary objective is to just get maximum storage out of their home. But they don't really want to waste too much time doing it, you know? I mean, as far as going to a warehouse, a showroom, they don't really need to go to a showroom, you know? If you show them a picture of what it's going to look like and they like me, they're going to be fine with that. But I think it is really important that it's easy, but then also quick. They don't want to wait 2, 3 months for their closet. The sooner the better. So I think those types of people, we seem to work really well with them.
All right. So what makes your business unique? Why do customers choose you versus, let's say, your competition?
I mean, the big one is just that I'm not a franchise because a lot of the closet companies, from what I understand, are larger companies, you know, and they're either regional or national, and they're big companies, you know. So when somebody hires them, they know what they're going to get. But when they hire me, you know, they talk to me. I might even install it sometimes. I'm the owner, and so they're not really hiring a company when they hire Captain Closet. Right now they're hiring me, and I think some people like that, you know, and that's really what's unique about us at this moment. That's the big one.
So it's really building that relationship with the customer where they're actually interacting with the people that are going to be doing the work and not some sales guy that's just selling.
Yeah, you know that's the big difference from what I can tell, and I think that comes across in our website and stuff. It's just a simple website, and in our Instagram posts and stuff. It's just me doing it. It's not flashy. You can tell it's not professionally done. But I
Hmm.
think that kind of resonates in a day of like AI and stuff because we see polished ads all the time. When you see
Yeah.
just some dude out there putting a closet together and the customer's super happy, I mean, yeah, I don't think you really get that with the other companies, but you'll get it with me, you know, kind of that
Yeah.
raw, unfiltered look into what we do.
Yeah. So what's one thing you wish more people knew about your business?
I guess just that we exist, but other than that, I guess probably what would be nice to know is that if something goes wrong, which even on a closet installation, you know, they're pretty simple, but things can go wrong. I think what I would want them to know is that that's when you'll be glad that you hired us. Because, I mean, if I drop the ball and don't really pick up the slack and solve the problem, you know, let's say there's a shipment delay because of a snowstorm, which we've had before, that's a problem. I'll treat it like a really big deal and still try to keep things on track. For instance, I just injured my knee. I could have pushed back a project a month or two, but I didn't, and we just made it happen. And
Mm.
so, you know, I really want people to know that when we say we're going to get it installed at a certain time. I mean, it's going to happen because people are on schedules and it's a hassle to kind of chisel out a time to come out and have something done. And,
Yeah.
you know, we make a big deal out about staying on schedule.
Yeah, that is important to people, and so that's a great kind of guarantee type of thing. So,
Hmm.
um, and this kind of leads me to marketing, which is something that's vital to every business is out there, and often it's an area where business owners really struggle. So I'm always curious what businesses are doing. I mean, what percentage of your monthly sales typically do you invest back in your marketing budget?
Honestly, as far as like paid ads, nothing, just because I think what I'm doing really is just more time that's involved with marketing. So that would be anything from like door hangers, which they're cheap, but then it's time
Mhm.
that is spent to pass them out, and then time that is spent on me DIYing things. And definitely, I don't want to do that for long. So it's really not how much money I'm spending on paid ads right now or paying for marketing. It's the time, which actually is a bigger deal. I have heard that the goal for me should be maybe 10% put into marketing, but with where I'm at, it's really not that I'm paying for marketing quite yet.
Yeah. How many different strategies are you using right now?
Um, just in general, so I've done some door hangers, which is nice, kind of like top of funnel to get them to find my website. But honestly, all I've really tried to do is maybe post on Instagram, Facebook, maybe 2 to 3 times a month, and have a basic website that, I just kind of have up and running with a form on there. And other than that, So I'll also post to Google Business Profile where I'll put an update maybe 2 to 3 times a month. So really it's minimal at this point, but it's getting some traction because I'd say 90% of my leads are organic Google searches at this point.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to ask you, what's your number one marketing strategy that's bringing you the most business?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a huge amount of leads, but it's been nice because I've been able to take time and really pay attention to the customers and how to make things streamlined so that when the leads do come in, it's a little easier. So, yeah,
Yeah. What approach have you taken to track your leads? Do you use a CRM?
I do have a CRM, but it's not quite doing what I need. So I may be using Go High Level coming up, but
That's what I use. It's good and it's all inclusive and inexpensive. So
yeah, I spoke with a agency today, and we may end up uh, working together, and she recommended that. So, and I've heard other contractors use Go High Level.
yeah,
It's perfect for a small business like me, from what I hear.
yeah, it does really well. So we
Mhm.
spent a bunch of time focusing on the business and sharing a few best practices for the audience. Let's take a step back and dive into your journey a bit more. So why did you choose to go into business for yourself as opposed to working for someone else?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think I kind of would get bored, So when I was framing, we did spec houses, which were cool, and which is kind of like basic houses, and
Mhm.
you build them first, and then people find them. And then I kind of wanted to get into like custom houses, I wanted to learn more. And so when the company I was with didn't really want to go that direction, and I understood, I thought, well, I guess I'll find another company. And then that just eventually led to me thinking, I could do this myself. And I like to problem solve. So there'll be plenty of problems to solve running a business. So I'll try that. And it definitely delivered on that. There's tons of problems to solve, but I wasn't ready for the types of problems that came my way
Yeah.
the first go around.
So what was that transition like?
Just overwhelmed. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought people find you, they hire you, and you go build things. I just didn't realize, oh, it takes work to find customers. I didn't know anything about sales. Didn't nothing about sales and communicating and listening to people.
Mhm.
So it was a train wreck, I would say, from a business perspective.
So what have you done in the business you're doing now that's changed from that, you know?
Yeah. Because that first business that failed, that was in 2012, like 14 years ago. So ever since then, I'd be working as an employee, or I even was a stay-at-home dad for a while. And I would always listen to podcasts, and I was thinking, I'm like, what happened? And at first, I kind of thought, what happened? Like it's outside of my circle. Like it happened to me. But then I started thinking, as it was me. I'm the reason why the business failed. If I've heard it said that if you blame others, you'll feel better. But if you blame yourself, you'll get better. And slowly, like listening to these podcasts and just hearing smarter people that succeed, you kind of pick up on those themes. And I thought, oh, so what did I do wrong? And then I just started thinking that what kind of business would I want to start? And since I've been a craftsman and the demand is high, I just kind of found my way back into it. But it was with a completely different mindset. It was with the mindset that you run a business first, and that is the top priority. Because if you can't survive, you can't build things. So um, I don't even know if that answered your question, but
Yeah, no,
that's kind of my
it
thought
did.
process.
Yeah, because I tell you, a lot of businesses fail because the business owners don't have the knowledge they need to run the
Yeah.
business. It's not because they're not smart and talented or anything like that. It's just they don't have the knowledge and they haven't taken the time to get the knowledge that they need. So it's so important. I mean, you say you listen to podcasts. That's awesome because that's education, and you're gaining knowledge of reading books and when you realize what your shortfalls are, then you go find the books or whatever or the podcast to listen to help you fill that shortcoming. So
Hmm.
um, let's looking back on your journey so far, what's been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you were challenged with that you were forced to overcome?
Most memorable one. Honestly, it might be right now. So like in the end of January, I injured my knee. It was a tendon rupture. Long story short, like I can't drive for 3 months. So I'm kind of in it right now. But to tell you the truth, it might be the best thing because I'm forced to lean on others to get these jobs done. So I already had jobs that were lined up. I reached out and found people to get them done, which is what
Hmm.
a business owner should do. Where before I would try out a subcontractor and it didn't go that well. And so I said, I'll just keep doing installations for another 3 months. But I can't do that now. I can't even drive to estimates. I do them remotely now. But it's kind of the best thing ever because I'm learning how to just solve problems. But I'm getting experience hiring people to do the work, and then
Yeah.
I'm able to coordinate it because that's what they need, and it helps me do the more important high leverage jobs. So I think right now I have the biggest challenge I've had, but I think I'm coming through with it so far pretty well.
Yeah, you kind of answered the next question is what impact did this have on on your growth as a business
Yeah.
owner?
Oh yeah. It's me letting go of the tools really, because
Yeah.
as a carpenter, it's just in my blood to want to build things.
Yeah.
But you just can't do that when you have a business,
If you
I
stay on
mean,
the tools, you're never going to build your business, that's for sure.
no, it's not a high leverage activity, and
Yeah.
there are people out there that want to be on the tools, and you know, and so I have to find them, and that's kind of the hard part. You hear a lot of times the business owners they say it's hard to find good people, but I think that's where the game is at. For home services, sure, marketing and stuff that's a thing, but I think finding good people. I mean, when you're going into somebody's closet, that's a lot different, more personal than doing a deck. Like if they're
Mhm.
outside smoking cigarettes, as long as they're clean and they're getting the deck done, pretty good. But I'm nothing against smoking cigarettes. But if you do that in somebody's closet, or if if it's just harder to find people that you want to represent your company in their closet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's harder. So, um, but me having to do that, I'm going to learn tough lessons, but I got to learn it as soon as possible
Yeah.
because if I can't do that, then the business won't go anywhere, you know?
Yeah. Well, this when we fast forward now and look at what comes next, where do you see your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, if I mean things are going to go to plan, and I'm going to continue to get it outside of my own way because I think I'm the limiting factor. But I could see, in 3 years, definitely having 2 to 3 install crews, possibly in house. Revenues, it sounds like 3 million is easily attainable in 3 years. So I might even shoot higher than that. But just something that's kind of where I see the company, and kind of like I like the Captain Closet brand to kind of be known in some ways, much more than it is now.
Hmm.
And that people kind of identify it with, that's the local option, and we can get it done quick and it's going to be easy. I would want people to kind of see us as that solution and to be, trustworthy, almost like they know us, like we're almost friends that are coming in just to do their closet. Because I
Hmm.
think that's important for, coming into your home in that manner.
Yeah, for sure. So, what's been your approach to goal setting? I mean, how many goals do you set at a time? How do you document them? What's the time frame?
That's probably one of my weaker points because I'm can be a little bit scatterbrained and wearing all the hats right now. It's like, well, yeah, I could set goals, but which hat, which goals? There's probably a million of them. So I struggle with that. But I think one thing that has helped me is that I experimented a little bit with some contractor coaching groups, and I left them because I didn't, they were fine for a while, but I met certain people. And I think when you meet certain people that you really connect with, at least in my experience, I kind of lean on them and we become friends.
Mhm.
So that I think is going to help me focus so that I can set appropriate goals. Because right now, I wouldn't say I'm very good at it. I'm more just, it's tough to focus for
Yeah.
me when I have to worry about, still all the hats in the business that I need to take care of. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. The industry specific mentors and coaching are super important. They do certain things, but there's certain limitations of industry specific too.
Yes.
It's really good, really, to have a non-industry person coming because they're all
Yeah.
focused on just the business, not
Yeah.
the stuff about the industry.
Hmm.
It's just about business, and just make you better at business. So, um, well, when we think of the future, it's important to address the topic of building a great team. And I know most of your team now you have 1099, but at some point you just mentioned bringing team in house. Um, are what even with your 1099s, so what's your approach to hiring and retaining your team members?
Yeah. I mean, there's limited experience with that, but the few times that I've done it, so one would be people that I already knew in the industry, and I've known them, they're almost friends. So, I mean, obviously, that's an easy way to find good 1099 subcontractors. With the knee injury, I had a short timeline where I had to find some people. And I honestly had some pretty good luck with going to local Facebook groups, which are private communities.
Hmm.
Certain neighborhoods will have them. And there's also private ones for business. And I would just go on there and post something and I had quite a few leads. And one day I was supposed to meet with four people. I only met with three because only three showed, but I found one great subcontractor that way. And that with that limited experience doing it, I was surprised how easy that was. So
Yeah.
that's how I've done it so far. But I just try to be really upfront and 100% honest when I meet them so that they know who I am. And then really try to listen to see what they want. Because sometimes it's not a good fit. They might be good at what they do, but maybe it wouldn't be a good fit for me.
Absolutely. So, well, we've covered a lot of ground in our conversation today, Evan. As we begin to wrap up, I have a few rapid fire questions, just kind of top of the head answers for each. Okay.
Okay. I might not be very good at it, but I'll do my
Uh,
best shot.
Give it a shot. Right. All right. First one. What's the key to success for you?
Ah, and for me, always blaming myself for when things go wrong, because then it's in your circle of control.
That's a great comment right there. So,
Yeah.
what's your one piece of advice for other business owners?
Be ready to fail and be excited about it,
All
because that's
right.
when
So,
that's when you're going to grow.
yeah, for sure. Exactly. So, you talked about podcasts and stuff. So, what's one book that you're reading or podcast that you've listened to most recently that's was really relevant?
It's pretty recent, and I don't listen to the podcast anymore. But the Alex Hormozy, he wrote some books in his first book, $100 million offers. It's a great book. It was really good for somebody like me with not a business background. And it just describes what value is and how to think about value. Like when people give you money, that's an exchange because you're valuable to them. Well, what is it that creates value? I mean, I think that's just a very easy read and just the concept of, he calls it the value equation. I
Hmm.
mean, that was just a great gold nugget that really hit me hard. I mean, some people might say, yeah, duh, that's obvious. But for a carpenter to read that, it clicked for me.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's actually not obvious to most business owners because so many business owners are stuck in price competition, and that's because they're not
yeah.
operating on value basis. People will pay more
Hmm.
money for perceived value, actual value. So you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
really decide what your value proposition is in your business.
Yeah. I mean, like I always give the example, like you have two houses side by side, two neighbors. House A gets a closet and it costs $20,000, and House B gets a closet $20,000, and they're actually identical, two different companies. But House A, and at the end, they're amazing closets. There nothing's wrong with them. But
Mhm.
House A gave a 5-star review, and House B gave a 1-star review. Like, how could that happen? Well, you know how that could happen, right?
Yeah,
It's all the other things. It took 3 months longer. The workers were not too trustworthy, a little shady.
yeah.
The way that I mean, just there's dozens of different things that would cause that
Yeah.
1-star review
It's the whole
because of
customer experience, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So it's not the closet. They're not, yeah, they're buying the closet, of course. But I mean, as a business owner for me now, my focus is really, I mean, that's going to get done because that's what we do. That's the easy
Mhm.
part. My focus is really on all the other stuff, communication, being available, making it as easy as possible and as stress free as possible for the customer. Like that stuff is where the value is.
Yeah, for sure. So if you had to choose only one area of your business that you could immediately improve tomorrow, what would it be?
Hmm. I would just say logistics. So being able to get certain materials on time, that's kind of an issue. And so right now, I could tell people it'll take 6 weeks to 8 weeks to get your closet. If I can fix that problem, they could get it in 2 to 3, and that would be a game changer. And I started off that way, but with yeah, supply chain issues, it's an issue that I'm dealing with now. But once that problem's solved, have a warehouse, forklift, and be able to churn quicker,
Mhm.
that then it'll be game on.
So that's kind of that's your big goal, huh? Is to have it like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that'll be huge. Yeah.
All right. So as before we get to the final question of the day, how can others learn more about you and your company?
Yeah, so they can go on the internet at gocaptaincloset.com. And we're also Instagram at gocaptaincloset. Yeah,
All right. Last question of the day. What's most inspiring to you these days?
most inspiring. I think just people like, Rocky, the Rocky movies. Like
Mhm.
he just got bashed and he just never quit. And so, like people that just the worst things happen to them and they just get back up.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Evan, that wraps up the interview. Really nice job. Thanks so much for taking time with us today.
I appreciate it, Kelly.
Yeah. So if you're a business owner who wants to grow your company, increase profits, and get your time back, visit the link in the description and schedule your strategy session with me